Now.
Good.
He's like. Police.
Yeah, of course.
Testing.
He's like, it's such a hard choice.
Well, we got two people here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know. It was a mirror. I'm sorry, that was too tempting.
She is a very good friend.
Hi, how are you?
She's a very good friend.
Meet someone, you know someone else, you know who knows someone else.
Community offering. Keeps us on our toes.
No, I wasn't able to find her. She might be downstairs.
Just writing down these. I got someone else. I got someone else.
Thank you very much. It is in there.
Opening in Jesus' name.
Yeah. She's in the back. Just, That's what the Three Stooges always said. So you can leave this song.
That was not bad.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to worship with the community of First Unitarian Church of Omaha. Even though it's spring, thank you for coming out in the snow. I am Denise, Allain, and I am your worship associate this morning. I am joining Reverend Woodbury in this morning's service. Whether you are attending online or in person, I'm glad you've chosen to join us today. Worship, which means to remember that which is of worth. Thus, we gather together in community weekly to reground ourselves in our highest values. We extend a special welcome to visitors today. This congregation is a community of all ages and abilities. It is a community with a rainbow of gender and sexual identities, a community of diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many sources of inspiration and share common liberal religious values. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. If you are joining us online, we encourage you to create a YouTube account and sign into it when you attend our services. This will allow you to participate in comments for joys and concerns and more. You can also subscribe to our channel and share videos that you like with others. For those of us who are joining us in person, we're inviting you downstairs in the common room after service for coffee and conversation. Also, if you are logged into the church Wi-Fi and you don't need to be, we kindly ask that you put your phone in airplane mode or at least shut off your Wi-Fi for the service. A few announcements. First of all, today is the end of our stewardship run, so we have a stewardship brunch taking place in the common room after service for those who RSVP'd. Pledge forms will be available, and we'll also have the opportunity to witness a new member signing the member book, Carol McCabe, who was under the weather when we had our new member ceremony a few weeks ago. Also, next Sunday, the 2nd of April at 9:45 a.m. in the old nursery, you're invited to join members of the Side with Love team to hear a briefing on state legislative topics and issues. They will update you on the status of bills of interest to the First UU community. The team will answer questions such as how to find and contact your representatives in the unicameral, the content of the bills and their statuses, and how to follow floor debates. If you have any questions, please contact Dave Richardson. If you are interested in what else is going on this week, because there's always something going on, you can use the QR code or links in your program, or you can get a printed e-news that is out in the foyer. Also, it is appropriate to acknowledge that the First Unitarian Church of Omaha occupies the traditional treaty lands of the Omaha and Otoe, Missouri tribal nations, whose sovereignty existed long before the state of Nebraska. We would also like to express our respect to the Ponca tribe of Nebraska, the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska, the Santee Sioux tribe of Nebraska, and over 170 other tribes represented within the Omaha area. Thank you and welcome.
Before I invite up our chalice lighter, I'm first going to ask those who are participating in the processional to follow Denise out to the foyer where she will get you organized. You can take your object with you. This morning, River Magisana will light the flaming chalice for us. I invite you to join me in the chalice lighting words. Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. Thanks, River. In this quiet hour, may our spirits be renewed. In this gathering of friends, may we be ready to extend ourselves to those in need and with trust to receive the hand that is offered. In this community of ideals, may we remember the principles that guide us and reflect upon those things that give meaning to our lives, renewing our dedication to serve the highest we know. In this time of worship, may our minds be open to new truth and our hearts be receptive to love as we give thanks for this life we are blessed to share. Our opening hymn is number 368, Now Let Us Sing. You can rise, and as we sing, you'll see representatives of many church groups and teams bringing forward objects that represent their groups and placing them on the altar to show how our teams and groups help carry out our mission. Again, you can rise if you like, number 368.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing. Sing, sing, sing. Now let us sing. Sing, lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the love within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the love within.
Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Sing,
Of the care within.
now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the care within.
Lift up your voice,
Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the care within.
Spirit, sing to the
Power of the Spirit within. Sing to the power of
us sing.
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the
Sing.
joy within.
Lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith
Now
within.
let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the love within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the love within.
Lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within.
And now let us sing.
Now let us sing. Joy within. Lift up your voice. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within.
All right. We get there. Just takes a little time sometimes. Okay. I invite the children to come forward, and we're going to talk about not all of this stuff, but some of this stuff. What's this all about up here? Here, I'm going to have you help me. So, do we have any curious minds here today? Yes, okay. I'm looking at all these things on this altar here and wondering, what is this all about? I think I'm going to ask you to take turns. We might not get to everybody, but many of you will have a chance to choose one of these objects, maybe even make a guess as to what it is, and then we'll tell you what it stands for. All these things represent our different groups and teams in the church that help make our mission happen, that help us all connect to each other and learn and grow and remember what's important. So who wants to go first? Would someone like to choose one of these items here? Raven, why don't you come on up? Go ahead and pick one. What's one you'd like to know about? Can you pick something on this table you'd like to know about? You can point to it. Is there one of these you were curious about? No, she's not sure. Okay. She's thinking about that. Go ahead while she's thinking. Yeah, go ahead. Aha. Hold that up so folks can see it. It's a Rubik's Cube. It's got all kinds of symbols on it. Yeah, we can move it around. I believe this actually stands for the board of directors, who have all kinds of moving parts and pieces of the church that they're trying to help guide into a meaningful pattern for our mission. You can play with it some more if you're gentle. Okay, yeah. That's okay, Raven. You'll be next after Otto. And Otto is curious about, ooh, that's a very good thing to be curious about. Can you hold that up so we can see it and be real gentle with it? Anybody know what that is? A microscope. Aha, exactly. Aha, that's for the atheist, humanists, agnostics who are very interested in science and what we can learn about the natural world and many other topics as well, and exploring, talking together about interesting topics. So that's one of our adult groups. You pick, Raven. You can hold it after you pick it. Ah, okay. She picks this beautiful cup here. That's for cups, our Covenant of UU Pagans, our earth-centered group that practices rituals together. Thank you, Raven. So you'll be very gentle with that, I know. Oh, I don't know about that, but that's a good question for your mama. Okay. Yeah. You want to pick one? We'll just do one or two more. And then we'll share with you all in an e-blast the meanings behind objects we didn't get to today. Ooh, the starfish. Yeah. Is it squishy? Oh. It goes with this beautiful embroidery. Oh, which says Palestine, and I think this represents an interest in helping to see peace come to the Middle East. So we have many social justice groups and projects that we work on here together to try to make a better world. I think the cell phone is for our minister team council because they're always communicating with folks. The coffee mug might be for our young adult group. Oh, coffee crew. Coffee crew. Okay, they both thought about the same thing. You love coffee. And the young adults. So they both, and we have some books. Those are kind of obvious. Anybody from the adults out here want to holler out a guess about anything else before we close up? What could this be? Green team. Smells good. Okay, how about the candle? Chalice Guild, who helps make sure we have candles and stuff here in the sanctuary. Okay, so it takes all of us to connect with each other in community, to make the programs of the church happen, and basically keep this community together. And I want to invite you all to help us say thank you to all of the volunteers who keep this church running. So I'm going to name some specific groups we want to thank, and then all together we're going to say thank you. Can you all look at me? You see my fist right here? When I open it into like a high five, can you say thank you? Let's practice. Thank you. Okay. So to all those who welcome the stranger, provide warm smiles, hot coffee, and friendly welcome emails, we say thank you. To those who bring beauty onto these grounds and into this very space in art and music, flowers and laughter, we say thank you. Got it. To all those who work behind the scenes to establish our vision, not quite yet, set policies, nurture other leaders, and plan for the future, we say thank you. To the people who teach our children and mentor our youth and create ways for adults as well to meet their spiritual needs and grow, we say thank you. To those who bring people together in affinity groups and church events and caring visits, build connections among us, we say thank you. Now let's say this one as quietly but with as much heart as we can. To those in our social justice task forces who work for the inherent worth and dignity of every person and for justice, dignity, and compassion in our wider community, we say thank you. To those who help us live out our respect for the interdependent web of all life of which we are a part, we say thank you. And more power to all of you, more power to all of you. Say it with me now, more power to all of you. Let's sing one more time. Sing to the power of community.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of community.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of community.
Lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice. Be not afraid.
Now let us
Sing to the power of community.
All right, Christina's going to join me now, and you all stay right there. We're going to do something special that this is the first time we've done it since I've been my 3 years here so far. And you kids have a very important role to play in this ceremony that we're going to do. Tell us about it, Christina.
Okay.
It was already on.
Is it on? Okay. So today we have the joy of dedicating 6 children. We realize it's been quite a while since we've had a child dedication, and we have a few more who will be dedicated on another day. And so if you have a child who you'd like to have dedicated who isn't participating today, please contact me. Our kids here in the front all have a special part, so stay where you are. I'll need you to say some words in a few minutes. Parents with little ones who will be dedicated today, please join me up here at this time.
And I'll say, kids down here, if you want to play very gently with something on the table, you can, but let's be as quiet as if a baby sister or brother was sleeping in the next room, okay?
Reverend Shari, as the families come to take their places, maybe you can answer a common question. In a UU congregation, what is a child dedication?
A child dedication is a public declaration of our love and care for all of the children of this community. It's a celebration of a new life when we're dedicating a baby, and a celebration, or in the case of an older child, that this young person has become a part of our community. It's a time when we all promise that we will take part in the spiritual nurturance and care of these little ones.
In this time, we recognize that every child is part of our vision for the future, and all youngsters have a just claim upon our families and upon their religious community to be nurtured in the ways of sharing, of love, of hope, laughter, tears, and just living an awesome life.
This morning, it is our cherished assignment to welcome and pledge our care to Otto, Margot, and Jocelyn Muth, and Ezra, Eleanor, and Meredith Eamon. They will all be dedicated under the auspices of our liberal religious church.
From time immemorial, parents have brought their children to houses of worship to secure them for the blessing of life and to dedicate them in the service of humanity. Together, we recognize that every child has the right to be held in loving arms and to be guided within the best of our abilities along the path of understanding and care.
Erica, Jessica, and Taylor, as caregivers, it is your privilege and obligation to provide an environment of security and challenge for your children. Do you commit yourselves to promote your children's physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being? If you do, you may say yes.
Yes.
All right, all my children gathered here on the floor, this is your part. When I was your age, I might have been sitting where you are now, as one of you was dedicated if I had gone to this church. I would have promised to look out for you as you grew up in our congregation. As part of dedicating these children and welcoming them to our community, I will now invite you to look out for them and help take care of them as they grow. This is your part of the ceremony. Are you ready?
Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Raise your hand if you're ready.
Raise your hand if you're
Are
ready.
you listening?
Children of this congregation, you are the friends and peers of these children being dedicated today. Those who are younger than you will look up to you and come to depend on you as you all grow up together. These peers, or children your age, will learn from you and with you what it means to be a caring person, a Unitarian Universalist. Will you try to always be gentle and kind with them? If so, say we will.
We will.
Will you create a place of safety to teach them about having fun and learning about life? If so, say we will.
We will not.
All right. Oh, we will. All right. Thank you.
In the act of dedication, we use the symbol of a rose to express the beauty of this new young life. We also use water as a sign of our common heritage on this planet. There's no suggestion here of the washing away of inherited sin. Each child came into this world with all the natural limitations and splendor of being human, and they arrived innocent. Water here stands for vitality, the essence and foundation of our being. The water we're using today also comes from the water ingathering that we held in the church in the fall. And so it carries as well a reminder of the bonds of community that we build here and the way we offer support to one another throughout life's journey. A token of the dedication, the rose is a fragrant symbol of beauty, promise, and love. These roses have no thorns, they've been removed, symbolizing the better world that we try to give our children that is within our power.
Okay. Do you want me to have the... Okay, Erica, will you tell us the names of your children?
This is Jocelyn Muth, Otto Muth, and Margot Muth.
We dedicate Jocelyn, Otto, and Margot in the light of truth, the promise of love.
Okay, we're going to start with Jocelyn. Touch a flower on you. May you be granted clarity of thought, integrity of speech, and a compassionate heart, Jocelyn. As this rose unfolds in beauty, so may your life unfold. Touch this to your head. You can. Let me bless you first, okay? May you be granted clarity of thought, integrity of speech, and a compassionate heart. As this rose unfolds in beauty, so may unfold your life. You're next. And Marco. Can you come here, Marco? May you be granted clarity of thought, integrity of speech, and a compassionate heart. As this rose unfolds in beauty, so may unfold your life.
All right, Jessica and Taylor, will you tell us the names of your children?
We've got Meredith and Ezra and Eleanor.
All right. Can I put this on your head? Then you can have it. Meredith, you want to hold it? May you be granted clarity of thought, integrity of speech, and a compassionate heart. As this rose unfolds in beauty, so may unfold your life. Okay, and who's next? Should we do Eleanor? Eleanor, can I put this rose on your head? May you be granted, Eleanor, clarity of thought, integrity of speech, and a compassionate heart. As this rose unfolds in beauty, so may unfold your life. Okay. All right, Ezra. Can I put this on your head? Ezra, may you be granted clarity of thought, integrity of speech, and a compassionate heart. As this rose unfolds in beauty, so may unfold your life.
We are all participants in this morning's child dedication because together we lift thankful hearts for the gift of childhood, whose innocence, laughter, and curiosity bring hope, joy, and new understanding to our lives. And together we will welcome all children into our congregational family.
We hope these little ones go strong in community and share the gifts of friendship, knowledge, wisdom, and dreams. We look forward to sharing our common liberal religious heritage together. As the final act of this dedication, I ask the congregation to please repeat this affirmation after me. For new life and new dreams. For new life and new dreams. We offer this blessing. We offer this blessing. Of hope, love, and commitment. Of hope, love, and commitment. Thank you, and welcome to all of our families. And we'll sing the children and families back.
Number 414. As we leave this friendly place, love and light to every face, may the kindness which we have brought our hearts to return. As we
at this time to invite Allain Wells forward to share a stewardship moment.
Good morning. Why I give to First Unitarian Church of Omaha. I am so relieved that Reverend Shari has given us this definition of worship, remembering that which is worthy. Prior to that, I often felt uncomfortable with the word worship because to me it connoted prostrating ourselves to a God that I don't believe in and accepting beliefs that made no sense to me, like Immaculate Conception, or Jesus saving everybody by hanging on a cross, and the Heavenly Father who would cast his offspring into a lake of fire forever. I am so pleased to have a minister who's not only brilliant, remember the scientific treatise that she gave in her recent sermon series about how we all evolved, and who is grounded, non-judgmental, creative, as in her sermon on the Edict of Torda, and brave enough to sing from the pulpit and float her butterfly wings in service of the stewardship campaign. I'm so grateful to have a community of like-minded people who seek facts and truth from many sources rather than adhering blindly to dogma from an ancient text that even the experts disagree about and debate. I'm glad that our church and its rich heritage have been boiled down to 7 basic principles that everybody can understand, and that those principles are based on one foundation, love. I am appreciative of our religious education department, which fosters these principles in our youth. When Ami Amini came from Indonesia to live with me for her senior year in high school, we chose Benson High School because it had lots of Asian students, and we thought that they would welcome and include her, but that did not happen. Instead, this young Muslim girl felt accepted and included by the YRUU here at this church. And that was tremendously meaningful to her. Moreover, she was rewarded for all of her volunteer efforts by being given the Teen Social Justice Award. I want you to know that your loving influence also extends all the way to China. When my Chinese student boarder, Ming Chen, came to the United States to work on his PhD at the Med Center, he was prepared by communist propaganda to hate and fear all Americans. But due to your friendliness and kindness, he went back to China with a totally different attitude. I was thrilled to be nominated for the UUA Prairie Star District Keeping the Faith Award in 2008 by this church, and for the Social Justice Award for Adults in 2010, and finally to receive a reward from the Prairie Star District for Social Justice in 2013. This was made possible by the hard work of Jack Round, who added photos to my application and sent it electronically, which I could have never done. I'm forever thankful for my dear friends here, for several good boyfriends and one stinker, and for my second husband, all of whom I met here. Carol Ramsey called me every day during my darkest period of time. Cheryl Wallace, Edith Bice, Dave Richardson, Ed Kelly, and many others helped me to launch Black-White Dialogues, Conservative-Liberal Dialogues, and Dialogues on Racism in Omaha from this church. And I have to mention Terry Lynn Brewer. I don't see her. Are you here, Terry Lynn? Okay. Yeah. She's taught me so much by example about patience and acceptance, and I love her very much. This congregation has offered me the opportunity to serve and thereby to grow in many ways over my 50 years here. I'm immensely proud to be a part of the music program here. We've had one amazing organist, a succession of patient, fun, and knowledgeable choir directors, and our incomparable pianist, Jay Goff. For all these reasons, I'm happy to share my financial resources with First Unitarian Church of Omaha.
Thank you, Allain. Each week, we practice the spiritual virtue of generosity by taking up a community offering. Half of the gifts given, unless otherwise designated, will be shared with a local cause, which resonates with our values. If you're online or prefer to give with your smartphone, you can use the QR code. For March, we are sharing with the Women's Center for Advancement. This group assists anyone in the Omaha area who's experiencing domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, or human trafficking. You can learn more at wcaomaha.org. The offering is gratefully received. Thank you, Offbeats. We come to the time for sharing joys and concerns. When we share our joys, they're multiplied. And when we share the challenges we face, our community can offer its care. Got several received beforehand here. Carol Cronin had back surgery on this past Friday. She is grateful for the outpouring of love and good wishes she has already received, and we can keep the healing thoughts and caring contacts coming. Again, that's Carol Cronin. As we've shared previously, longtime member Janet West died at the end of February. A memorial service has been scheduled. It'll actually be held here this coming Friday, March 31st at 4 p.m. If you plan to attend the service, please park in the garage unless you need to be closer here in the parking lot, and you can get your ticket validated in the foyer. The service will also be streamed on YouTube. If you were wondering about this big rectangle here that was brought up at the beginning, I'll share a bit of a teaser. We had a breakthrough on our multimedia team last week, and we'll soon be sharing more with you about a solution for a screen that will solve many of the challenges we've had with sharing multimedia in the sanctuary in the future. Let's see, Donna Neff shares a huge thank you to all the participants who shared their wonderful talents at last night's Spring Fling auction event, and to Katrina Schmidt and Della Bynum for organizing it. What a great evening. I have one more joy to share before we go to the online ones. We'll want to clap again for this one. Kai Clement and Tila Colbert are expecting a baby at the end of September. Great joy. What do we have from online, Colin?
Just from Harriet Major saying that she is very thankful for this church.
I believe she had a major birthday recently. 100? Woohoo. Happy birthday, Harriet. Okay, we draw into the circle of this community's care all who know both joy and difficulty. Will you join me in a centering song? This is 1009 in the Teal hymnal, Meditation on Breathing. You can stay with the first melody line on top if you want, or join one of our singers on another part.
We'll see how it feels. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
As we continue to breathe in peace and breathe out love, I invite you to rest your eyes and make your body comfortable. After a common prayer, we will observe a time of silence for your own inward reflection. First, I share this prayer adapted from Ruth Southworth. O creative spirit of life, in which we live and move and have our being, we give thanks for all of nature's bounties, even snow on a spring day. We give thanks for caring friends and compassionate neighbors. We give thanks for the communion of those who seek to serve others. Each of us carries our private griefs and burdens. Sometimes we can share these, and for the open hearts which respond, we are grateful. Sometimes the world bears heavily upon us. We struggle alone, search the depths and long for healing, for renewed hope, for strength, which give their grace and peace. May we be strengthened in efforts to be of service, and may we always be mindful our lives are filled with privilege and fortune, and joy that are foreclosed to many. May our prayer be that we always see clearly and keep before us the commandment of care. And may we try always to be inclusive and open, not exclusive and narrow. In this time of rising threats to transgender communities and families in particular, across the country and here in Nebraska and Iowa, let us open our hearts to trans people. Let us educate ourselves, express care to those we know, and press those in power to act for the well-being of real people, precious people who are trans and gender nonconforming. On this day and every day, may we give thanks, but let us also be dissatisfied with the world as it is, for a new world is waiting to be realized. May our spirits and bodies be nourished and nurtured as we give thanks and praise of all that sustains, heals, and holds, all that is holy. Amen. And now a time of silence for your own private prayer or meditation. Denise shares this morning's reading, Calling, by Nancy Schaefer.
When you heard that voice and knew finally it called for you and what it was saying, where were you? Were you in the shower, wet and soapy, or chopping cabbage late for dinner? Were you planting radish seeds or seeking one last sock? Maybe wiping handprints off a window or coaxing words into a sentence? Or coming upon a hyacinth or one last no? Where were you when you heard that ancient voice? And did yes get born right then? And did you weep? Had it called you since before you even were? And when you knew that, did your joy escape all holding? Where were you when you heard that calling voice? And how, in that moment, did you mark it? How, ever after, are you changed? Tell us, please, all you can about that voice. Teach us how to listen, how to hear. Teach us all you can of saying yes.
The joyful sounds of children in the sanctuary. Teach us all you can of saying yes, pleads the poet. Kayla knows all about yes. When her kids were little, she said yes to the PTA, yes to shepherding a scout troop, and yes to teaching in the Sunday school. As the kids grew, so did Kayla's volunteering. She served on the board of an arts organization, cooked meals for youth emergency services, and when she was tapped to serve as church treasurer, she said yes. She also sang in a church music group and was a regular at game night, activities that fed her spirit. Sometimes Kayla felt like she was stretched a bit too thin and wondered if she should give something up. But she loved the communities she was a part of. They were part of her. Asher, another member of the church, was more familiar with no than yes. He signed up to make coffee occasionally, figuring he ought to do something to help out. Volunteers, after all, are the lifeblood of any congregation. Asher liked having a defined job that he could do with his hands. Working in the kitchen was better than bumbling around at coffee hour, feeling awkward and trying to figure out who to talk to. And saying yes to the coffee crew made it easier to say no to the AV team and other Sunday morning roles, not to mention his professional association and the nonprofits that kept trying to recruit him. The church nominating committee and MTC had long since given up on slotting him into important roles after so many years of hearing no, no, no. Asher had actually been feeling lonely lately and wondered if working with a team might be good for him, or even taking an adult religious education class. But it seemed like a moot point. For Asher, the habit of keeping to himself and regarding commitments as encumbrances was deeply ingrained. Now, a disclaimer, Kayla and Asher are fictional people. As they say in books and movies, any resemblance to actual people or events is purely coincidental. So don't sue me if anything strikes too close to home. Of course, they aren't entirely fictional. Kayla and Asher are like composites of many people I have known. Folks of the species Homo ecclesians, church people. Though each has a different relationship to volunteering, Asher and Kayla might both benefit from practicing the art of serving with grace. That's how my colleague Eric Walker Wickstrom frames church volunteering. It's the title of a book he wrote for those who serve, Serving with Grace. Subtitle, Lay Leadership as a Spiritual Practice. So let's dig into that idea, lay leadership or volunteering more broadly as a spiritual practice. I see at least 4 reasons for serving as a volunteer. And the first, indeed, is that volunteering provides an avenue for personal growth. Kayla certainly learned new skills through her volunteering. She never thought of herself as one who would be good with teaching children, certainly not other people's children. But the religious education director provided wonderful support. She learned from watching other teachers. And most of all, she discovered she really enjoyed the kids, getting to know them and witnessing their development. Volunteering can be a spiritual practice when we approach it as Gandhi might. Give full effort and let go of results. Practice detachment. Volunteering is a spiritual practice when we have an argument or have to work with someone who just rubs us the wrong way and decide to lean into our congregational covenant of right relations and keep trying. Volunteering is a spiritual practice when we practice putting the needs of the whole before our own personal preferences, as a board member, for example, must do. And you can probably think of other ways that volunteering can provide an arena for spiritual practice and personal growth. What about you? Has volunteering at church or elsewhere been a part of your own personal becoming? If it has, if volunteering has helped you develop skills, or as the dad from Calvin and Hobbes would say, build your character, I invite you to stomp your feet when I put my hands up, and then keep going until I put them back down. Okay, you ready? Okay, that's a lot of growth. A second reason for serving as a volunteer is one Kayla also knew well. We can build rewarding relationships with other people and deepen our own sense of belonging. She loved that about her arts work, Yes Meals team, and of course, music making with others. Asher saw that other people enjoyed this reward from serving on church teams and being involved in events, and he wanted it too. If only he could overcome his inertia. If only he could push through his reflexive resistance to joining groups. He just wasn't a joiner. Maybe then he would feel less like he was always on the outside, looking in. Who here has found a deeper sense of belonging and connection through your volunteer work, whether at church or elsewhere? If you have, if you found belonging from your volunteering, I invite you to put your hand over your heart and thump. a lot of belonging. Okay, thank you. A third reason for saying yes to volunteering is to make a difference for others. Kayla derived a deep sense of satisfaction from her work as church treasurer. No one saw her do it, but she knew this was an indispensable role that helped make possible everything the church does. And Asher? He knew that his life was filled with many blessings, and he actually did feel this desire to give back, to be of use, to contribute to others' happiness. But what could he do that would actually make him feel that sense of purpose? He hadn't figured that out yet. I invite you to take a moment, if you will, to reflect on a variety of volunteer roles you've played, if you've played many, and any of those roles that made you feel good because you were benefiting others, because you could see how you were helping individual people or a community that you care about. And I invite you as you move to call out some of those roles and who or what they were for. And if you're online, you can put it in the chat.
Youth sponsor.
Afghan family.
Yes, house family.
Sunday school teacher.
Adult RET.
Board of trustees.
Okay. Now, in a community like this one, a congregation, volunteering is not only a means to personal growth, a way to build relationships and find belonging, and a path to serving others and feeling useful. It's all of those things, or it can be. It's also part of the commitment of membership, right? Anyone who has gone through membership classes may remember learning that members are asked to give time, talent, and treasure. We've been talking about the treasure part quite a bit this past month because it's pledge season, and we do need a pledge from everyone who has income, each according to our ability. We need pledges at all levels to get to our goal and fill in our puzzle and be complete. And if this is the first time you're hearing about that, there's a Fair Share giving guide and other materials we can hand you downstairs to think about that. Well, we do also ask members to share their time and their talent. Now, just as our life situations vary when it comes to financial giving, so too with time and talent. If you're working and parenting and managing a chronic condition, you may not have a ton of time to share at this particular stage of your life. Although, if you're coming to church on Sunday anyway, you could sign up to be a greeter once a month. It's also true that one person's talents may be quite different from another's. Yet it's one of the pluses of church volunteering that you don't usually have to be an expert at something to give it a try or to help out. For example, we've made it easy to help out at the AV desk, even if you aren't very tech savvy. It's just, you just push buttons, right, Catherine? Yeah, push buttons. It's not hard. You don't have to have teaching experience to teach in religious education. We provide the curricula and the support. In most roles of the church, you're part of a group or a team of people that are supporting that area of the ministry, and you can lean on one another's gifts and strengths. Let's go back to that yes and no that the poet wrote about. How do we know when to say yes and when to say no? It's a simple question, but I feel like it's a lifelong journey of learning how to discern. Edward Everett Hale said, "I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do." Implicit in that statement is that a litany of no, 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 just always and forever no, is probably not the right way to go. I believe that choosing wisely when to say no and when to say yes is the key to serving with grace. Eric Walker Wickstrom puts it memorably when he writes, "Your no is as sacred as your yes." Your no is as sacred as your yes. Does that make sense to you? It feels a little countercultural maybe, but I think it's true. Your no is as sacred as your yes. You want to say that with me? Your no is as sacred as your yes. Now in the reading, the poet evokes the power of a yes moment, a sense of calling so deep and clear that you would remember where you were, what you were doing when you heard it. And though not every yes is so profound an experience, although I hope you've had some of those, yes can indeed be sacred. But I think Wickstrom is right. No can be sacred too. It's just as important. Some of us are enthusiastic people, perhaps a bit like Kayla, people who like to say yes, and to whom many activities sound interesting, and saying yes and being part of it feels important. If that's you, you may need to brush up your discernment skills, especially for when to say no, because I don't want you to burn out in church. Others of us are wary people, perhaps more like Asher, more often content to be on the periphery, perhaps even selling short the ways that jumping in might enrich our own lives and help us grow and thrive. If that sounds like you may benefit from taking a little more time before you answer and learning to sometimes say, yes, let me try it. I'm sharing some questions that anyone can consider when faced with an opportunity to serve. Sitting with them before you say yes or no can help you respond wisely and serve with grace. Now, those of you in the pews should have received a little handout with these 5 questions on it. For those online, I'll read them off here. First question, what motivates me to volunteer? Is it personal growth? Is it connection with others, a sense of purpose, fulfilling my commitment, or something else? Second question, what are my gifts? What particular talents or strengths do I have? Third question, how do I want to grow? Number 4, what kinds of activities or tasks give me energy and which ones drain me? And lastly, how's the balance in my life right now? What do I need more of or less of to feel whole? Sometimes it's some of both. You might want to stop doing one thing because you really want to start doing something else. So let's take a moment for reflection now, and I just invite you to jot down any thoughts that come to you in response to these questions.
If that activity is feeling rich and that time felt too short, I encourage you to spend some more time at home reflecting on that. A final question is, what volunteer needs exist? There are many of them in the wider community, of course. For our purposes today, we'll focus on opportunities within the church. You also should have a page that says Serving Volunteer Form at the top, and it's been put in the comments for those online, a link to that. I'm going to take a few minutes to review this, consider what came up for you just before this, and mark any areas you'd like to learn about. This isn't a definite commitment to fill a particular volunteer role or join a team. It's just an expression of curiosity. And for anything you mark, you'll hear from a staff or lay leader who's familiar with that area of our ministry, and we'll share more with you about the opportunities so you can decide if it's something you might want to get involved in. Remember, your no is as sacred as your yes. This is just curiosity. We need to give that baby a prize for making RE volunteering look so appealing. Okay, if you're finished with that, I invite you to pass your form down to the center aisle where an usher will pick the form up. And if you need a little more time, you can turn it in after the service. I'm going to come back to Kayla and Asher, our fictional yet realistic church members. Kayla comes to realize that an event she has organized for years has run its course, or at least she's in danger of becoming resentful of her role with it. So she sees that the event needs new leadership if it's to be sustained, because it's time for her to have a change. While her own kids are now grown and gone, Kayla ends up finding a deep sense of purpose by instead becoming a youth group advisor and mentoring young people. As for Asher, after coming to a service like this one and talking to his spouse, Asher slowly starts to do more volunteering. He's pleasantly surprised to find that he feels more alive and connected as he builds stronger ties with other community members when he pitches in to help set up at church events. Asher also takes pride in his contributions on the green team, because he feels that nothing is more pressing on planet Earth right now than becoming better ecological citizens. And working with the church team gives him an outlet for acting on that concern. Well, that brings us to the end of Kayla and Asher's stories. And I'm curious what will be the next chapter in each of your stories as sharers of time and talent. What calls forth your sacred no? And what calls forth your sacred yes? That's for you to discern. I hope you will share with others what you learn about the joys and challenges, and I wish you many rewards in the venture of serving with grace. So may it be. Amen. I invite you to rise if you like and join in our closing hymn, number 318, We Would Be One.
seated. Lindsay Bates shares, the Quakers speak not of a worship service, but of their meeting, hence this benediction. With faith in the creative powers of life, with hope for the future of life in this world, with love for all others who share this life with us, let us go forward together in peace. Our meeting has ended. Let our service begin.
Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand. Every boy, every girl, and man. People, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you travel, it stays all uphill. Let's work together. Work together. Come on, let's work together. Come on, people, let's work together. You know, together we can stand. Every boy, girl, woman, and man. Oh well, 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 hours. What does it matter now in this life of ours? Let's work together. Come on,